Ever heard the one about the Egyptian movie star named after a king from the Maldives?
Now that's a story I haven't heard before. Sounds like a fascinating connection.
It is. And we're diving deep into it today. We've got some incredible sources that lay out this whole link between Egyptian cinema and Maldivian royalty.
Two worlds you wouldn't necessarily put together.
Right. So we're going to uncover how this all came to be and really get to know the lives of the people at the heart of it all.
It's amazing how a name can bridge cultures like that. Makes you wonder what kind of significance this name held to travel so far.
Totally. Okay, so let's start with the Egyptian actor, Emad Hamdy.
Okay.
He was born Muhammad Imaduddin Hamdy on November 24th, 1909,
Right.
in Sohag, Egypt. His father was an engineer, Abdul Hamid Hamdy, and his mother, Amina, well, she had a really interesting background. Her father was an Iranian consul, and her mother was French.
Oh, wow. So there's a mix of cultures right there in his family.
Yeah, and this is where things get really interesting, the naming. When Imad and his twin brother were born, his mother, Amina, wanted to name the first twin Abdul Rahman. For the second, the one we know as Emad Hamdy, his father suggested Muhammad Imaduddin. And apparently, Amina was really happy with that.
So why that name? Was it a family name or?
Well, it was for Amina. It was the name of her sister, Sharifa's husband.
Oh.
And he was the former Maldivian king, Sultan Muhammad Imaduddin.
Uh-huh. So that's the connection.
Yep. And get this, Emad Hamdy himself said in an interview that his father specifically chose that name because he admired the king. He felt the Sultan had great character and strong moral standards.
Wow.
And he hoped young Emad would inherit those qualities.
So that says a lot about the king's reputation, even internationally.
For sure.
And it makes you wonder what exactly those qualities were that the father admired so much.
It really does. And speaking of making a name for himself, Emad Hamdy certainly did that in Egyptian cinema. He's a huge star.
Oh,
He worked consistently from 1945 until he passed away in 1984. Quite a career.
That's incredible.
He was married 4 times and had 2 sons, Nadir and Sham Hamdy.
Wow.
Left his mark on Egyptian culture, that's for sure.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got the Egyptian side of the story. Now, what about this Maldivian king? Sultan Muhammad Imaduddin VI. Tell me about him.
Right. Sultan Muhammad Imaduddin VI, also sometimes known as Haji Imaduddin, ruled the Maldives for about 10 years,
Okay.
from 1893 to 1903. But get this. He lost his throne while he was away in Egypt for his wedding.
Whoa, hold on. Really?
It's true. It's a wild story.
That is wild. How does that even happen? What took him to Egypt in the first place?
Well, so in 1901, after he finished his Hajj pilgrimage, he traveled to Egypt. And that's where he met Emad Hamdy's aunt, Sharifa.
Oh, wow.
And they fell in love and decided to get married.
So it wasn't some political arrangement or anything?
It's like it was a love match.
Yep.
And he was so serious about it that when he went back to Malé, he started building a house for her on the grounds of the Grand Palace.
Wow. That's commitment.
It is. That house, called Ushikalu, is still there today in Sultan Park.
Yeah.
You can actually go see it. It's a reminder of this whole love story.
That's amazing. A real-life monument to their romance.
Yeah.
So how did he lose his throne while all this was going on?
So he had left his brother as regent in November 1902 to go to Egypt for his wedding.
Right.
The wedding was going to be in Suez, but not long after he left, a revolt broke out in Malé. Sultan Muhammad Shamsuddin III, who had ruled briefly before Haji Imaduddin was reinstated as the ruler.
So it sounds like being away for the wedding created a power vacuum.
It did, and his rivals took advantage.
That's rough. What happened to him after that?
Well, he tried to get his throne back,
Yeah.
but it didn't work out. He ended up living in Egypt for the rest of his life.
Oh, wow.
The Maldivian government did give him a pension, though,
Okay.
so he wasn't completely left high and dry.
Exile for love. That's quite a story. Did Hugh and Sharifa have any children?
They did. They had a daughter. Her name was Daulat Imaduddin. And from his earlier marriages in the Maldives, Sultan Muhammad Imaduddin also had other kids. Sources say his descendants are now spread out in Egypt, the Maldives, and all over the world.
That's incredible.
His legacy lives on. And to give you a bit more background on him, Sultan Muhammad Imaduddin, Haji Imaduddin, he came from a long line of Maldivian royalty.
Uh-huh.
He was the son of Prince Hassan Izzuddin, who was the son of Sultan Muhammad Imaduddin V. And if you go all the way back, his ancestry traces to Sultan Hassan Izzuddin,
Okay.
Don Bandarayan of the Hurrah dynasty.
So he wasn't just any ruler.
Nope. He represented generations of leadership in the Maldives. So losing his throne would have been a big deal.
Absolutely.
It wasn't just about him personally. It affected a whole lineage.
Right. So just to wrap this all up, we have this Egyptian actor named after a Maldivian king.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it is. And it all comes down to family.
The actor's aunt married the king.
And then the actor's father was so impressed by the king's character.
He wanted his son to have the same qualities.
It's incredible how these stories intertwine across continents and time. A king losing his kingdom for love, and an actor carrying his name as the symbol of good character.
It makes you think, doesn't it?
It does.
It's like those names we use every day.
Right.
They're not just labels. Each one has a whole story behind it.
A whole history, maybe even.
Exactly. Maybe a hidden one, just waiting to be discovered.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what other stories are out there, hidden in plain sight.
I like that.
Something to think about after our deep dive today.
Definitely.
Thanks for listening.